Hey guys, Shawn Ziem, the Connection Machine, aka the Insurance Doctor. This is live number 23 on the year. It's all about providing value. As you're seeing, we're going to have another professional that we're going to talk business, entrepreneurship, and some interesting other things that we haven't talked about on my show yet. So I hope you're sitting there wherever you are in the world, having your coffee, having your wine or liquor, whatever you're into. Sit back, enjoy for the next 15 minutes. Wonderful conversation with a good friend of mine. What's going on, Stacey? How are you?
Hey, how are you? Thanks so much for having me on. I appreciate the opportunity.
This is going to be a lot of fun. I appreciate you coming on, taking a chance. We haven't met in person, but a lot of times I follow what you're doing on social media. And
Sure.
I was like, I need to have you on the show because I think there's lots of value in what you do. And I would love for you to give us an introduction of who you are and what you do.
Oh boy, that's never the easiest thing to introduce yourself. But my name is Stacy Butewicz. I'm obviously a realtor. Our brokerage is Keller Williams. Under that is myself and my partner, Amy, who is also my sister, and we have the Butewicz Equestrian Lifestyle Group. And we specialize in horse properties. We've sold over 100-something farms. We're extremely active in the horse community, whether it's riding horses, racing horses, retiring horses, giving horses homes. I think that's really what we end up doing all of this for. So that's just a little bit of background about me.
We'll definitely get into it. It's going to be exciting as far as what we're going to talk about. Before we get after it, pause for 1 second. So you get involved. How long have you been doing the equestrian horseback riding? How long have you been doing that?
The neat thing is that actually Amy, my sister and my real estate partner, got me into the horses, and then I ended up getting her into the real estate. She actually had a career in pharmacy and everything, and we kind of joke about it. But I mean, listen, in real estate and that kind of a thing, you're able to make your own schedule. So it would be a Tuesday afternoon. She'd call me, "Hey, what are you doing? I got to jump on a horse. I have a lesson, And she's like, "Well, I'm heading to the pharmacy," and I'm like, "Well, I make my own hours." And then kind of once the business started growing and everything, income started coming in, it was just a no-brainer. And I really needed someone that I could work with and that I could trust who had a really high work ethic. And one day Amy called me and she goes, "Hey, I'm in real estate school." And I couldn't really believe it. And basically the rest is history. So the horses, like I said, Amy got me into. I've been involved with them like literally my entire life since I could walk. And the real estate, it's actually August will be 11 years that I've had my license, which is really crazy.
11 years, guys.
Yep.
Some of you are just getting your license. You're like, what do I do? Because I, like a kid, all they do in school is help you pass a test.
Right.
They don't tell you about all the other things you have to worry about, how to get the money to come in, how to generate leads, things like that. Now, are you using, I'm sure you're probably talking to anyone that's involved in your equestrian life as well. And then you focus on selling homes. And that's a phenomenal thing to do because you are in something that you love to do. And it's just something that flows from it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it definitely goes hand in hand with all of that. And I think that's where the success really comes in, and it's incredible. I mean, we went to an event the other day just for to help retired racehorses, and at that event, we had 3 people come up to us. We're not ready to list yet, but you're our first call. Hey, our neighbor's thinking about selling. We passed your name, whatever it might be, and it's like, wow, like we came to this event to wear the hat of supporting the business and being involved, and it's just incredible to have it come full circle. And like, sometimes it doesn't really feel like work, to be honest.
You created your own personal brand. It doesn't matter what company you work for. It's you and your sister just crushing it, and you're doing what you love. That's what you just said. And it's not like you're working every day.
Yeah.
But being an entrepreneur, there's struggles, right?
Absolutely.
Can you share a struggle that you've had, if not recently, in the past that you've had that people should know about?
Oh gosh. I mean, I think there's plenty of them, like the everyday, how to manage client expectations, how to, that day-to-day grind. But I think if we're talking about a bigger picture, and this is something I share and has been kind of something that a lot of people have thought about, but I've spoken previously about how there was the time with the business where I burned out, and maybe that's not the most, glamorous topic to talk about, but I think it's a conversation we really need to be having, like, and it was one of those things where I was making great money and just a typical, like, had everything and just was like, what is this all for kind of a thing?
Yep.
Not necessarily so much in that sense, but I think I hit a wall where I was like, I don't know why I'm doing this kind of a thing. And again, it is going back to that why. It is finding what you're passionate about. But what I realized more than anything, and what I just said, sometimes it doesn't feel like you're working, which is a great thing. But then it's almost like we've traded our 9 to 5 for a 24/7. And that's not a good thing. It doesn't leave you relaxed. It doesn't leave you refreshed. You look at your phone, you see a client calling, and you're like, okay, I hope this is going to be a positive we all have been there, and I don't ever want to feel that way. I want to see my client's name come up and be excited and be happy. But I think what I realized was that you can't give until you have nothing left, because that's when you burn out. And that's when, so I really had to look at my life. And I mean, I remember at that time I went home, I just started crying, and my mom and dad were like, okay, so tell us what's been going on the last couple months. And I started telling, my dad's like, well, so when do you turn your phone off? I'm like, Dad, we don't do that, and you're like, but the reality is you need to have a break. Like, you need to have a break. And now you'll see, like, on my email, it says, here are my hours. It's 9 to 6, anything after that, we need to have an appointment, whatever it might be. And, like, trust me, we work really, really, really hard for our customers, but we want to make sure that when we are working, we're on. So I think that, as far as struggling, was that burnout. And it was a scary time. It was like, wow, like, I put so much into this, and now I'm not sure where I stand on it. But it was just, like I said, I was going, I couldn't mentally relax. And now I know that, relaxing, getting to sleep at a decent time, like, all of those things help you become a better, person. And in the end, that's kind of what it's all about. So
I appreciate you being transparent with us, because
yeah,
yes, everyone goes through it. The
right.
burnout is real. It's something
Absolutely.
that you have to get over some things and
Sure.
restructure what you're
Absolutely.
doing.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
you had said the email having the times for when you're working. I use Calendly
I
for
saw
when
that
I
and
want
I
to
love
have.
that.
That's
Yeah.
how in my day, I can organize my day. I don't
For
want to
sure.
have people call. Can I make calls all day long, or have maybe do what we're doing
Sure.
now?
Yeah.
Yes, but it's also, I need to have it on my time, not on. It's on.
Absolutely. Oh,
It's
yeah.
how important it is.
The whole day will get away from you at that point. And that's what Amy talks about a lot too, is like, the time blocking. But I thought it was interesting
Yes.
because I was having conversations with agents and would just randomly, it would, they were calling for advice and were always willing to share and give. And you could tell they were kind of leaning towards that, like, phase where they're sort of like burning out. And we've had the and they were like, wait, what did you do? What did you do to get over it? And you're like, wow, like, this is a conversation we need to be having, like I said before. And in our office, people are like, please, like, teach a class on it. Like, they're like begging me, and it's crazy. But if you go to, like, the triple play convention and they have a class about stress management, their room is freaking packed. Like, it's crazy, and that's what we need. Like, in my opinion, everybody knows how to do real estate, right? We can all tell each other how to make 6 figures, 7 figures. It's just about doing it, and it's about
Yes.
time blocking and figuring out a way to make it all happen.
The action needs to be. Everyone goes to these workshops, and then
Right.
all of a sudden
Yep.
they learn something. It's so funny to me, and they'll learn it on social media.
Sure.
And all of a sudden you'll see, like, the same post from like
Yeah.
18 to 20 other people. And I'm like, oh, they must have just went to a workshop. This is their
Exactly.
way of trying to generate
Exactly.
opportunities.
Right. Right.
And it works for some, but it's also being an action taker, being consistent
Right.
and persistent as hell. That's what I found.
Sure. Sure.
You're going to
Yeah.
get a lot of no's, right? You
Yeah.
don't get every listing you go for, right? It takes
No,
time.
no, absolutely, absolutely. And I think that's another conversation too, I always feel that the listings that you say, you first, you have to realize you're in control of saying yes or no to a listing. And to me, the listings that you say no to are just as important as the listings that you say yes to. So I think that's another piece of advice also, that's kind of interesting.
I mean, you watch Million Dollar Listing, you watch Selling Sunset. They look and
Sure.
portray all the cool things and all the parties.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
not reality, though. That's
No,
not the
no.
day to day, right?
That's for sure. Yeah,
It's like
absolutely.
they portray it, and people think that you can just get things without spending money as well.
Of course.
What are some things that you've had to spend money to make money, in the real estate world?
Yeah, so actually really quickly, you brought up that $1 million listing thing, and I think it's incredible because you talked about the partying and this and that. And actually Frederick Eklund, who's super, super successful and everything, he completely stopped drinking. And he's like, my life became so fulfilling after that. So sometimes you don't need to do everything that makes you fit in with everyone else. So I thought that was cool. Then going on to your question about spending money to make money. Actually, I feel like Amy and I are a little bit maybe in the opposite direction on that. Not entirely, but I think for us, it's like having a good core, having your sphere of influence, having those people
Yeah.
that you network with all the time. We don't spend money in like a traditional realtor way. Like we've never spent money on Zillow leads. We've never done any of that. For us, to be honest with you, where do we spend the most money is mailers, postcards, putting something into an envelope and hand addressing it. It gets open all the time. I think that's where we spend money. And then, I would say on marketing, whether it's like bringing a nice bag to a listing presentation and giving that to a customer with all of our information in it, whether it's getting t-shirts or different marketing like that and making it more of like a lifestyle. Personally, we just don't like to do like pay for more of like the cold lead stuff. So honestly, we don't spend a ton of money to make money, if that makes sense. And we've actually sort of like taught classes about that. But again, I think it's really that network and about those raving fans, those people you've done business with, those people you are doing business with, treat them like gold and it will come back to you. And I mean, it's just crazy what and you have to put the time in. I think that's a really important thing too. So I would say if I had to pick what we spend money on, definitely mailing it has been huge for us, especially in this environment where everybody's teaching social media classes and all that. That's been really big for us.
Now, you are one that learns. Are you into reading books? Are
Oh my
you
gosh.
into
I was
watching
actually
podcasts?
yeah, I was driving today and I was thinking about it. I was like, I am just like a sponge. Like whether it's learning something about horses or real estate, like I always want to get into like the nitty-gritty details that probably most people, would skip over. But I think that, it's all about the basics. It's all about the fundamentals. And I was lucky to start in real estate at a time when the market was completely down. So like I wasn't just getting fed contracts kind of a thing. Like I really had to work for it. And that's why I think I really became successful with it too. I read all the time. I'm reading a book now. I can text you the name of it later, but it's something to the effect of weekends and just, why they're so important, why we need them, how people have basically like fought for us to have time off. I've read like just a ton of books, like the 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. I actually haven't read like Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I definitely want to dive into that, but like I am constantly reading. I constantly Google things that I have questions about. Like yeah, I am definitely a reader. Podcasts, I would certainly love to get into a little bit more. I know there's like the Bigger Pockets podcast and some of those that I'm really interested to kind of get into.
No, that's fantastic. I believe reading is very important. It
Oh, for
allows you
sure.
self-development. Personal development is huge.
Yeah,
Being active, reading, learning, no
right.
matter what. So your brain is a muscle as well. Now,
Yeah, and
here's a question. Go
yeah.
ahead.
Go. No, no, go ahead.
If you were, and I would love to end on this, and I was told you let's do a different way.
Sure.
If you weren't in real estate, what would you be doing?
Oh, I would be riding horses, hands down. And I know we should do like that's kind of the thing, like, follow what you love to do and everything. And there's always, I don't know if you've ever heard that story about like the fisherman. And there's a guy who goes out on his boat, he comes in with a fish, he catches a couple, and then there's like the big time like company who sees the little guy and says, well, what, you're kind of good at this. Why don't you do this for a living? And he said, well, this is what I love to do. Why would I go create a company where I have to worry about all this hassle when at the end of the day, all I want to do is be on my boat, right? So like, I think that's kind of cool. But yeah, I would probably be riding horses and spending all my time around them. So for sure. Or maybe I would own a coffee shop or a piano bar or something like that, or be a bartender in Turks and Caicos because that's pretty cool too.
All awesome jobs to have, and it's just
Yeah,
putting your passions,
right.
in front of you, and taking the opportunity and trying it, like,
Yeah.
are you going to quit real estate today and do that? Probably not.
Right.
But
Right.
it's something in the future that you might do. And it's
Yeah.
something it's a goal to have. Like if you watch and listen to Gary Vee, he wants
Sure.
to be the owner of the Jets. Will
Yeah.
he be? He probably
Yeah.
could.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
that great.
Yeah.
But it could be something that you have, and you should always shoot for the stars.
Sure.
Stacey, it's been phenomenal,
Awesome.
having a conversation with you.
Thank
And
you.
I wish that if those that are watching, if you have questions, give Stacey a call from
Oh, absolutely.
equestrian, from real estate to learning about getting into real estate. She's a wealth of knowledge. Definitely reach out to her, connect on any of the platforms you're listening to us on. Definitely connect with her. And we wish you guys, and I appreciate you. We
Thank
hope
you.
you have an awesome day, guys.